Hello, Oddicorns, and welcome to the Odd Unicorn Podcast. In this episode, it will be just me and Silas, and we will be going over doing the little things. What is most important in life?
Yeah. But first,
a word from our sponsor.
me,
That is correct. He has sponsored everything.
my pocket. Have you ever wanted to give money to me, but weren't able to?
Guess what?
Now you can.
YouTube has a super thanks thing.
Actually, I should enable that.
Silas will hopefully enable that, and so he can make some money off of it.
No, actually, you know what? I have actually been thinking about that. Oh, wait, I think we're off center.
Are we?
We are.
I'm directly on the line.
Yeah, but then your body goes past the middle.
I do.
So you scoot. More.
Good.
Boom.
Now, wait, I think now we're off center a little bit. Maybe I'll scoot in a little bit, and then, yep, I think we're good now.
Sweet. Now we're just like,
Buddies.
yeah. But no, I actually have thought about that. About possibly doing a. Let me pull this off for. There. Oh, now it's off.
Now it's
Oh, this podcast is already going off the rails.
Oh no!
I have actually thought about doing a Patreon or enabling YouTube super thanks and stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you create a Patreon, we could do, I don't know, like 30-minute episodes, like special ones.
That's a great idea.
You could also you could post your photography on there.
Yeah, and I could actually, what I can do, here's a big idea. That's where I get suggestions. The people that want to watch all the way through and even, want to support me, which is like, wow. I wanted to change that, but then I realized that was going to be a pain in editing and to change. Wait, actually, just pause and be quiet. And now, there we go. Now we know where it is. But yeah, I have been wanting to, it's not necessary though, so I'm not really going to push it, but I might start that maybe at 100 subscribers. Let's do that. Let's say 100 subscribers, I start enabling donations. So if you want to give to me right now, I've not leaked my address, I don't think, so you won't know how to...
My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at 308 Negra Arroyo Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you are seeing this video, that means I'm dead. My brother-in-law, Hank Schrader, has created a drug empire and has forced me to be the cook.
You had that a little bit too memorized.
Because I'm not in danger. I am the danger.
I am the one who knocks.
I am the one who knocks! That guy is a raging liberal, though.
Yeah,
Most
Hollywood?
actors. Not Brett Cooper.
She's not in Hollywood.
That is true. That wasn't even a joke.
It was a pretty bad
It's
joke.
just bad. Yeah,
So yeah.
Patreon and super
Possibly.
thanks at 100 subscribers.
Yeah, let's do that. 100 subs.
Show your parents, show your grandparents, show your siblings,
Yeah.
show your baby brother,
Yes.
show your dog. Make sure your dog
Yes.
subscribes.
Yes.
I
your dog
really don't
has
want to have to make
subscribe.
25 alt accounts and subscribe them all here.
Yeah, because
That would just be hectic.
we already have enough bots. No, we don't use bots. That's just, I find that to be so sad and stupid to have to use bots to boost your, engagement. I'd rather just engage with people. So, to have fake subscribers just to make yourself look cool. It doesn't even, I don't even see the appeal, really.
And then you don't even get paid from YouTube until you reach 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, and 4,000 hours of watch time, I believe it is.
I thought it was 1 million views.
No, I think they switched it to watch time.
Okay.
So if they watch, because if they watch 3 videos for 1 minute, you get 3 minutes of watch time. And if they watch one video for 40 minutes, you get 40 minutes of watch time. So it's actually, I kind of like it better though.
It does allow for less just clickings.
Yeah.
Makes it harder to fake views.
Yeah, and watch time makes you actually see if someone likes something.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, we've been getting super boring. So like 50 people probably already clicked off.
Probably.
Sorry, bye, see ya.
You aren't the real ones.
You're not the real ones. The real ones. I need like a backwards cap. The real ones.
The real ones. Just I'll get a video of you saying it after this. Email it to you or send it to you
and
or
then,
something.
And then we'll
just put it in every time you say the real ones.
It'll be a short, just the real ones.
The real ones, something like that. But yes, doing the little things in life. As Jordan Peterson said, how can you expect to do anything in life if you can't even make your bed in the morning?
Yeah, in fact, not only Jordan Peterson said that, but also I don't know if he's related to you. Like 50% of you guys are related. But Mr. Ingalls.
I'm not related to him.
You're not? Okay,
No.
okay. Yeah, he said the same thing. Mm-hmm. Actually, before I even knew who Jordan Peterson was. He preached a message, and it was one of the most convicting messages that I ever heard in my life. Because at that point, I was a pretty lazy guy.
I still am.
Same. But my parents took care of a lot. I wasn't very independent. I was fairly dependent upon other people. And he's like, if you need someone else to wake you up in the morning, you are not... You can't do hardly anything for God. Because that means your entire life is dependent upon other people. Like, your entire life is just undisciplined. And so it was... Because before that, that was an accurate statement. I hardly ever, if ever, got up on my own. Someone else would always have to wake me up. And that was like...
Before you go.
Nope. We are not doing 60s.
Was it 60s? So it's like 80s.
70s, I
70s,
think.
80s?
I think it's 70s. I listened to a lot of that music at the factory. Not of my own free will. I was forced to. But yeah. He's one of the people that like challenged me to be a lot more disciplined. Not me specifically, but everyone that was there. But I felt it felt so personal. Because I was like...
I saw something on Instagram the other day. It was this guy looking under his couch cushions, and it was me looking for the hidden cameras after pastor's messages be hitting a little too close.
Yes, it's so true. It's like, you're talking about me, aren't you? You are.
I was like, when the pastor's like, I'm gonna name someone. I'm not gonna name someone, but they're sitting in the front row. No, I don't actually do that, but it feels like, and especially if it is actually you.
Yeah.
You're like, bruh.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, especially when the craziest thing is when a special speaker is even more personal than your own pastor.
Yeah.
Because your pastor would be like, so he knows. Or like, oh, so he doesn't like what I was doing. You could be like, oh, so he's getting that from that. Special speaker, he has no clue who I am. And here he is saying this stuff.
That was what was so convicting with Calvin Allen's speaking.
Yeah.
Go check him out. Does he have YouTube or something like that? If he has it, check him out. He is a fantastic speaker.
Search Calvin Allen on Facebook and YouTube.
I think he's on Instagram maybe too, but I'm not sure. I know he's at least on Facebook.
Yeah. He's
fantastic speaker.
Wonderful speaker. He has great music. Wow, I love his music.
What was the name of this group again?
Faithman Quartet.
Faithman Quartet. Look it up. Great music. Solid Christian music.
Buy their CDs. Makes them a lot more money than Spotify.
And honestly, that's actually one of the little things that we as Christians should probably do is listen to more godly music.
Yeah. In fact, that was something I was convicted about. Like 2 years ago.
When my dad got saved, he said the easiest thing to quit. So my dad was not saved for 23 years of his life. And he said that the easiest thing for him to quit was drinking. It was the easiest thing he could do.
Yeah.
The hardest thing for him to get rid of was music.
Yeah. See, I was raised in a Christian home. We didn't ever listen to basically anything except for when I was a kid, we'd listen to classical music, hymns, and like the nursery rhyme, folk song, stuff like that. It was just those three. And then when we got older, we'd listen to Disney music as well. And then
Disney or Disney?
Disney.
Disney?
No. Disney.
Disney.
Datney?
Disney.
Datney.
Disney.
Datney?
Disney.
You.
I'll just hit that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Anyways, music. Now my dad's like, yeah, looking back at all the music I was new, he's like, yeah, now it just sounds like,
Yes. But like for me, I even struggled with it for like a year.
Yeah.
There was a year where I was listening to rock music just consistently. And it wasn't like, there wasn't like a ton of swearing, there was nothing nasty in it, but I got convicted because I would always be like, well, they don't have swearing. They have a kind of good, a kind of good message in them. And it's like, you can't 100% prove that the music isn't bad. And then the more, then I believed that for like a long time. I was, justifying it. That's what I was doing. And then I went to a preacher's conference. The whole conference was about music. And none of them talked about bad music. All of them said, what does the Bible say about what music should be?
Songs,
instead of
hymns and spiritual songs.
Where does casual rock and roll fit into that?
I don't see it in there.
Yeah.
Honestly, so I don't know if this is going to make anyone that has subscribed to you upset, but CCM is nasty. It's disgusting. I don't like CCM. Christian contemporary music, it makes a mockery of God. I feel that it does. I feel like something as sovereign as God should be respected. And I understand, like, it respects God. Does it though?
The problem is
really.
The problem is, at the end of the day, those beats did come from African worship services.
Fair.
Worshipping, the ancestors, the gods, the spirits.
You know something cool though? The Bible was in, I think, Ethiopia before it was in Europe.
Yeah? Yeah, because of
Philip.
No. Well, it started with Solomon.
That's true.
The Queen of Ethiopia came and visited Solomon and wanted to know all his wisdom. And he told her everything she wanted to know. And she's like, wow, he's for real, like, a man of God and, like, super intelligent. And she brought a bunch of that knowledge back.
Yeah.
And then, the Ethiopian eunuch and Philip. Then they got to know the full New Testament gospel.
Philip is, I think, the only person recorded in the scripture to teleport. Because remember, he was carried by the Spirit of God, too.
Yeah?
So, teleportation is real, guys.
Jesus passed through a crowd.
I honestly think he just walked through the crowd. I don't think he teleported.
That could be, because he was always, like, a man that, everyone just, like, he just looks like everyone else.
Exactly.
Huh. That's an interesting theory.
But
doing...
a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't think we can get into them right now.
We could probably do a whole episode on conspiracy theories.
Oof. Yeah, that would just be like a for fun episode, though.
That would be one that, if we were to start a Patreon...
That would be a Patreon episode.
It would.
That would be. The big thing, doing the little things, wow, we haven't talked about that hardly at all.
We started with music. That's a little thing.
Yeah, but...
Reading your Bible and praying. I know it's a Sunday school answer, but...
Yeah, it's almost too big to be put into the category of little things, even.
It seems little comparatively.
That's true. That's true. It seems little, but the impact is so huge.
Pastor Ingalls brought up in Bible class, so they did a study where people that read the Bible once a week weren't affected. People that read the Bible twice a week weren't affected. People who even read the Bible 3 times a week or interacted with the Bible 3 times a week were not affected. But at the 4th, it increased dramatically. Immediate effect. So reading your Bible is really important.
Yeah?
But in reading your Bible, you also have to figure out what is the best version to read. And personally, I believe that it's King James. I'm a King James only guy. Now, if you read the ESV or something like that, I'm not going to judge you as long as you're reading it. But honestly, versions like the NIV, I feel like are leaving out truth because, again, the story of the Ethiopian eunuch. If you look at Acts 8 in the NIV, it goes from verse 36 in chapter 8, where it's the eunuch asking, "What must I do? What doth hinder me from being baptized?" It cuts out 37, which is Philip telling him that you have to be saved, and goes directly to 38, which is him baptizing him.
Yeah, but that's off topic.
Kind of.
Let's go back to
reading your Bible.
Well, that's one thing. That's a huge thing. Reading your Bible and praying, which it's for some people it's harder than others.
Yeah.
Some people are creatures of habit. Some people, they just like getting into a rhythm and they just do this and they do that and they do it every day. My brother Joseph, he's like that. He likes doing the same thing and he's really good at just kind of doing stuff. And in fact, he even gets upset if he can't do something that he normally does. I'm the exact opposite. I'm just a wildfire. Now, once I get into a habit, I love it. I will eat the same food over and over and over and over. Never get sick of it.
I love
If
food.
I find something, I love meals, but I realized I like the conversation more than the food. It's interesting.
Especially going out with people you don't really see often.
Yeah. But we'll have once a week we'll have church meals. And not once a week, once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah, for people's birthday. And then we'll have an early afternoon service. It's awesome. And I will be there and I'm always the last one done eating. At almost every single meal. Because I'm talking.
Whenever we do church potlucks, sometimes I'll get there right as they're putting stuff away because I was talking to people. Or I was helping my mom.
Yeah. So it's almost to the point where I'm like, man, I should just get snacks and then just eat later.
Just keep a granola bar in your pocket.
Yeah. You just bring Tupperware containers with you. When you go to a potluck, you're just like, oh, this looks good, this looks good. Anyway.
Fellowship with believers is another little thing, I'd say.
That is, again, so much bigger than you realize. And it's so important.
Very.
I've just, this week, my soul has been so refreshed. Because, wow, it's been a barrage of just wonderful thing after another wonderful thing. So, first, and this is coming out on Tuesday, so you'll already have heard about me and Jonathan going to Sheboygan and going to the conference, and that was so much fun. And we got to fellowship with believers there, and it was awesome. And then I got to hang out with Jonathan a bunch, and we got to know each other way better. And that was so cool. And
I had a friend, which they're awesome. You know who they are. You know who they are. But they went up to me while I was at camp, and they were like, do you think, would it be okay if we became better friends? And it's just such a thing for him to say. And I'm not judging him for it. It's kind of funny to me because my personality is, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's something where we don't even think about that because our entire goal in friendships is to automatically become better and better friends. So we just do it by default. We either become better friends or go, yeesh.
Making friendships just increases the amount of people that will be at your funeral.
But also at your wedding.
If you get married.
That
goes for
also
research.
making friendships increases your chance of getting married.
Also true.
Because then you got a bunch of dudes who know
And
girls
they're
or
good
have
wingmen.
sisters.
Great wingmen.
Yeah, and so they can hook you up with
I have 3 sisters.
friends like that.
None of them are available right now.
Yeah, I have 5 sisters, and same. None of them. One kind of, but not really.
It's gonna be weird when someone starts dating my sisters.
It was weird. Well, actually, the first one wasn't weird.
I feel like it'll be like...
With Andrew, it made sense.
Well, Andrew's just Andrew. He's chill.
Yeah, exactly. But with Luke, it's been weird. I love Luke so much. We are actually like really good friends. But it's just like, okay. Now, when someone starts dating my younger sisters, that's gonna be weird.
Becca.
Like, I think Becca's probably gonna get a boyfriend before Joy.
That's because she's just so out there all the time.
Well, and Joy just has no interest in just like casual friendships.
Fair.
She's just like all in or all out. That's it. That's why so many people haven't gotten to know her. She will make a first judgment on someone and decide whether she wants to even try to be friends with them or not.
I'm basically the direct opposite. I will try to be friends with pretty much anyone.
Yep.
You put me in a room with just a rock, I will make friends with that rock. We will have a whole backstory.
Yep. Yeah, we'll probably go on rides together. Yeah, I'm same. But yeah, friendships and fellowship, and another thing to consider with that, make sure they're alright people.
Yeah. Iron sharpeneth iron.
Even if they say they're saved, even if they go to a good church, even if they got great parents, even if they have great siblings, if they personally are not showing Christ in their life, then you cannot treat them the same way you would treat a good friend.
I'm going to take someone from the Bible as an example. The youngest king ever recorded in the Bible is Joash.
Yep.
And the problem with Joash that caused him to sin was he didn't make God his God. When he was rebuilding the temple and he had the offering box, what did he tell the Levites?
Go collect to build the house of your God.
Never made it his God. Nah.
Yep. His dad, the guy that raised him, which was essentially his dad, was a priest. So I love Jehoiada the priest, and he feared God, and he loved God, and he raised, and that's honestly one thing that debunks a lot, because there's a lot of people that are like, they're in a good Christian home. Jehoiada, it never records.
He was the high priest.
It never records any errors by Jehoiada. It talks about him raising up Joash and the nurturing, in the Lord and teaching him the ways of the Lord. Joash had every opportunity, and then as soon as the influence was gone out of his life, he's like, "No, I'm done. I'm not. I don't want to." And that was his choice. And so that's why I say be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your friends are at church with you and you're serving the Lord and they seem to be serving the Lord, but they haven't actually made God their God, they will bring you down.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, godly friendships, so important.
Very.
One other thing, a little thing, it's more important than you realize, is getting advice from people older and wiser than you.
Absolutely.
And making that a habit.
Absolutely.
A habit in your life. It wasn't a habit for years. And I could have been so much better and gone so much further and been so much more mature if I would have made a habit about asking, because you can relate to my problems, I can relate to your problems. But I will not put a lot of weight into your opinion. We're going to hash things out back and forth, like, oh yeah, I think this, oh yeah, I think this.
But if I say one thing and Pastor Duracek says another, I would trust Pastor Duracek over myself.
I would as well. He's been through a lot more than me. And so, your opinion doesn't matter that much to me.
That sounds really...
It's really rude.
It sounds really rude, but it's not. Like, I take absolutely no offense to that, because if I was in your shoes, I would be doing the exact
I will
same
never
thing.
go to you for advice.
Unless it's on something you know I have a lot of knowledge in.
Well, okay, if it's a practical, just logical thing that you have knowledge on, sure. But life advice, I'm never going to you for life.
Do not look for me for life advice.
So specifically for life advice, older people.
Absolutely.
Always, because the way to learn about life is by living.
Because there are two ways. There are two ways you can learn. One, through words, which is really difficult to retain. Or two, the school of hard knocks.
Yeah. Well, and experience will always get you a deeper understanding.
Like, if a small child touches a hot stove and burns themselves, they're probably not going to touch the stove again.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I broke a streak. See this tiny little red mark?
You got a burn?
I did. You guys probably can't see it. There's a tiny little red mark here. I broke a 20-year streak of never being burned by an oven.
Wow.
Yep. For 20 years... I've baked before, I've cooked, I've burned myself on the stove a little bit, just a hot pan or, oil splattering, and I don't think I burned myself by fire, but yeah, never on an oven. And I have sisters that have worked same jobs as me and burned themselves and doing stuff, and it was just last night I was doing bake. I was putting in the glazed donuts.
Oh.
And I put them in and tap. Ah! It feels like someone cuts you.
Yeah.
Because of how hot and how just immediate it is.
500 degrees in there.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy. But I was crazy once. They locked me in a room.
A rubber room.
Or a room with rats. Therefore,
rats make me crazy.
Therefore, I was crazy. But doubly so.
Rats make me crazy.
I was crazy once.
They locked me in a room.
A rubber room.
A rubber room with rats?
And rats, well, rats make me crazy.
Rats make me crazy. Ugh. Okay, no, we're not doing that. Man, this is just such a low energy podcast all of a sudden.
I don't know. Maybe it's because it's...
We've been here for 5 hours. And you left and came back.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But yeah, what time?
We're at 30 minutes. Well, this might be a short podcast episode.
Well, yeah, but there's more little things.
Oh yeah, there's absolutely. Just need to think of them.
Man, our brains just turned off.
Yeah. So we have Bible reading, prayer, friends, music.
Ooh, big one. Big little one. A little thing that so many people don't do, especially guys, and it's so annoying, which is genuine casual compliments. That is so important.
But the other thing is, you have to, if you're a guy and you're talking to another guy, if all you do is casual compliments, it's gonna be weird.
Okay, no.
There has to be...
In regular conversation, there's no reason to have to continue to compliment.
That doesn't mean that you can't go up to someone and tell them that they look good.
Well, yeah, and...
Unless it's a woman and then it's just... Well, I mean, you can, still do it without being weird.
Okay.
But don't go up to a woman and just go, oh, you look good. It's just...
Well, and with compliments, there's a specific way to do them. Because the very much wrong way to do it is to walk up to someone and say, you look good. That's...
weird.
Uh-huh. That's complimenting everything. That's just...
But...
That gives off creeper vibes. But, I've complimented girls, and there's a very much right way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is, I like that dress. It looks, it looks great. Oh, I like what you did with your hair. Compliment something that they actually chose. And the same goes with guys. Mm-hmm. Now, girls
care more about the physical appearance, and guys care more about the items.
Well, they care more about, and about, like, actions.
Fair.
So, like, for instance, if a guy built something
that looks like a great structure,
he is going to take so much more, he's going to think so much higher of you if you compliment him for what he built versus what he's wearing.
There are two types of guys. There's those that cannot take any criticism, and then there are those that take criticism and usually improve. Granted, there are certain people that I do not take criticism from, because even if they're right, and I know that it's not in their mind to try and help me,
well,
I will still take that.
I will rebuttal that. And here's why. Because,
so there's two ways.
Paul gave thanks for a certain person. Yes. He says, some people preach the gospel out of compassion because they love people. Others to add affliction to my bonds. It's like other people want to literally hurt me and imprison me more, and because of that, they're spreading the word that I'm popular for spreading. And what does he say? Either way, the gospel is preached.
Yep.
So, if someone criticizes you There's
two things to take with that, too. What I mean by I don't take it is I'm not like, oh, thank you so much. I didn't notice that. Or I really needed someone to tell me that. I'll be like, okay. I didn't really need to hear that from you, but okay.
See? Yeah, I but there are certain people
I'll just be like, all right, and then just kind of fix it.
Yeah, I still do my best to acknowledge
absolutely
the criticism and actually I will, no matter who's giving it to me. If it's constructive and if it's actually helpful, I'll be like, thank you.
That's kind of
I didn't even realize that. Too. But there is some people that just are trying to be rude.
Exactly.
I will not cater to rudeness, but I always will thank someone who's actually trying to, even if they're rude about it. Like, I have friends that will say things, and they will just say it how it is.
And I can appreciate that.
And, yeah. And there's actually a lot of people who get offended by that. I have one friend that she'll just criticize me if I'm doing something stupid. That's stupid. Don't do that.
Nope.
And she means it.
And that's helpful.
But yeah, she doesn't mean it to be rude. She means it to be exactly what she said. And I've learned, she just saw something in me that she didn't like, and if I agree with her, I should just take that criticism and use it. And the other thing is, if someone's absolutely wrong in their criticism, and you can prove it without a shadow of a doubt, you just go, okay, thank you, and you don't have to use it. You don't have to.
The worst thing you can do if you're getting criticized by someone that you know is just trying to hurt you is argue. That is the worst thing you can do.
Yes. Argument with someone.
Because they may know that they're wrong, but now they're just doing it to anger you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's... Discussion should only be to learn.
Edifying.
Yep. And so if you are mad, if you are frustrated, if you two don't get along, discussion's probably not a good idea until the relationship is repaired.
There's a kid at my school.
Okay.
We hated each other when I first moved back. Like, we hated each other.
Yeah?
Now we're great friends.
So you repaired the relationship.
Yep. And really, I don't really know how we did that. You know you're good friends, but you can't remember how the friendship started.
Yeah, and it's... The other thing is, like, you're like, why was I so stupid in hating him for that long?
So
you think about that.
Part of the reason, the one guy, I understand why I hated him, but then he got over it. Like, he got over why I hated him. And then we just kind of...
And you got over it.
I got over being annoying.
See, that was...
Looking back, at myself 3 years ago,
Yes.
I want to slap myself
Oh, same.
and drag my face across the sidewalk because I was an idiot. I was a top tier idiot, and every single one of my friends can attest to that fact.
I was the most annoying guy on the planet. I was borderline creepy. I had no social skills.
Same.
None.
Mostly because I was homeschooled.
Yeah, well, that does it to you. Well, for me, it was homeschooled, and the church I was at for 6 years had nobody that wanted to have a normal conversation with me.
Yeah.
There was one person that wanted to argue, one person that was so immature that they didn't know how to carry a conversation, and everyone else ignored me.
At my old church, there was really only one guy around my age who I was good friends with. The others were all teens. I wasn't a teenager yet.
Okay, yeah.
But one of them got married recently, which
Nice.
that's good.
Wait, which one?
Andy. I don't know if I've told you about him.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to send him the podcast and let him know.
You should. Yeah.
His younger brother Jake was also really, really cool.
Okay,
I liked
cool.
him too.
Cool.
They had a friend Paul who was cool. There's another guy Richie. He was cool too.
Nice.
Richie was more distant because he probably had the same attitude as I do now, which is I really don't want to associate with the junior high kids. Which I don't blame him for at all.
That's funny. Our teen group, it's actually the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
So everyone associates with each other.
Yeah.
We have a 14-year-old and a 21-year-old. It's college age all the way to junior high, all in one, just because it's a small church. Because 14 to 21-year-old, that's 8 people. That's it.
There's at least 20 kids in my teen group.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the age group for the teen group?
12 to 18.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely different.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But, so in regards to those guys, there was really only the one person I would constantly hang out with. And his dad would always tell him, so his dad was Maltese.
Okay.
And so he'd always be like, Reagan, don't talk Josiah's ear off. And he'd mean it too, which is really funny.
That's awesome.
Like the other kids, I was like, kind of just like, all right, I acknowledge that you exist, and I acknowledge that you exist, and you acknowledge that I exist. Mm-hmm. But everyone wanted me on their team for kickball.
Hey.
Because I could kick it really far.
Nice. Hey, that's a good way to do it.
And I was tall, so I could catch it.
Nice.
But other than that, I was really ignored.
Yeah.
Which is completely fine.
Oh, that's another little thing. Social skills. Learn how to talk to people. And learn how to talk to girls as just friends. Mm-hmm. That was one thing were me and you talking about, or was it while you were gone? It might have been while you were gone.
It was probably when I was gone, but I have talked to you about it.
Yeah. Whereas I believe that the brother-sister relationship of friends is just gone. And I think it needs to be here for one very specific reason. I'm not saying you should just like have a bunch of girlfriends and y'all hanging out, like, not that. No, girlfriends in the old-fashioned definition. Sorry. The old-fashioned definition. I hung around with a lot of old people.
I love
so now
old people are awesome, by the way. If you have the chance, hang out with an old person. They're so awesome to hang around because they got so many stories.
Yes. And they vary your personality and give you a much better look up.
Like my grandpa Longsign, he was unsafe for most of his life, so he has stories. Like there was one time he and his friends were arrested for driving drunk, and what they would do is they just tossed you in the drunk tank for a night and you'd sober up.
Yeah.
Well, that night they were holding Ed Gein in a cell near my grandpa's. You know who Ed Gein was?
Wait.
He was the inspiration for the book and the movie Psycho. He grew up in Springfield, Wisconsin.
Whoa.
He made lampshades and furniture out of human flesh and skin. He was an awful human being. Terrible, terrible, completely messed up. But my grandpa was in a cell near him. And my grandpa told me that he cracked so many cannibal jokes at Ed Gein the whole night. And then he's like, yeah, when the lights went out for lights out, I made sure my cell was locked. Old people are so funny. I love them. They need to be treasured and protected.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's another thing. Talking to old people.
Dude, it's so fun.
Well, and you learn so much that like doesn't even cross your mind that they're talking about. And their advice I've seen is the most practical.
Absolutely.
Because they've seen all of the high class society. They've seen all the great advice. They've seen waves of different ways of thinking over and over and over. And it's like, oh, this one failed. This one failed. This one failed. This one failed. And they've kind of peeled away everything. And it's just the golden nuggets. It's like,
however, you do have to watch out for one thing. The better than thou old people. Where it's like, I've done it this way for 60 years. You young whippersnappers, you're not doing it my way, you're doing it the wrong way.
Well, those people won't normally talk to you, so.
We had someone like that teach teen group once.
Oof.
He was like, I read my Bible every morning. I read 2 chapters. And I don't even drink coffee because that's distracting me. It's just me and Jesus. Like, great, could you put that in a way... I didn't actually say this, but I was like, great, could you put that in a way where it's not annoying to hear? Like, rather than, well, this is what I do, look at me, I'm so high and mighty. Put it as, look, you need to read your Bible every day.
Yeah.
Something. The way I do it is I just don't drink coffee. I don't do anything. It's the first thing I do when I wake up. I read 2 chapters. And that's something that I do.
Well, not drinking coffee so you don't have a distraction, that's a personality thing.
Exactly.
Some people, drinking coffee helps them focus more.
Exactly.
And there actually, one thing though I can vouch for, and I don't know if this is a hard conviction for me, but I've seen over and over in the Bible that specifically reading your Bible in the morning is actually something that God encourages. I've actually seen it. So, like, for instance, we go to type in pictures. The manna. When was the manna?
In the morning.
And what happened in the afternoon?
It was gone.
It was gone. It melted. And then there's so many times where it's like, when the sun cometh up. He's praying when the sun cometh up and when the sun goeth down.
Or Daniel, 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
And I think that's actually where we get the pray before every meal.
Well, also, there is a specific verse that actually talks about praying and thanking God for the food.
And the other thing with prayer that I don't think a whole lot of people realize, that especially if they're unsaved. So I don't know this. This is not a hard proven test. I just saw a reel about it and it made a lot of sense to me. But it was how unsaved people think we pray. And it was like, Our great Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Lord, I pray that thou givest me strength for the rest of the day. But then it was like how Christians actually pray. It's like I've been looking all over for the one. I know that there's plenty of fish in the sea, but I want the one that you choose. And like going through like personal problems. And I feel like that's how most Christians pray.
I believe there kind of can be a balance.
There can.
Because, first of all,
you want to revere the Lord.
Yes, that's the thing. That's actually my pastor. I don't know if my pastor's talked about it, but my old pastor, Pastor Navis, he hates the name Reverend. It's like, I'm not a reverend. I'm a pastor. Because God is who should be revered. It's an interesting thought. So I think...
Not a bad thought either.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I understand people who are like, Reverend, because it sounds more formal.
Yeah. But, I think of it this way. We probably wouldn't be talking to the President of the United States that way.
I don't know if he'd understand me.
Yeah.
The current one.
Still.
We're not a political podcast. We're not
or if we're talking, like, if you're talking to a police officer.
Oh, hey, I'm not going to go, hey, buddy, old pal chum.
Yeah, you're not, he's going to be like, hey, how are you doing, sir? You'd be like, Doing great. It's fine.
I've been
Hey,
looking.
do you know how fast you're going? Is this,
No, just as fast as everyone else is going.
Yeah, that's fine. You're gonna be respectful.
Absolutely.
You're
gonna keep your hands on the wheel.
Yep.
You're not gonna make quick movements.
You're like, hello, officer. How are you doing? Doing great. Hey, and if you were speeding, you're gonna be like, I'm so sorry. I wasn't looking at my speedometer, or something like that. And that's the way we talk to people.
Do you know what the
respect.
easiest way not to get shot by the police is?
Don't break the law.
No way.
I heard that from a black preacher.
I thought that the police would just shoot you for walking on the sidewalk. At least that's how they make it out.
Okay, yeah.
Not a political podcast, guys.
Either way.
The little things.
But yeah.
I am a little thing. Not really. I'm a fairly large human being.
So yeah, I think we've
covered a lot.
We have covered a lot.
I feel like we've covered a lot, even though it's not a lot of time. We still got like 15 minutes left.
Yeah, and you know what? This even points back to the other podcast, which came out on Saturday, because this being Tuesday now.
Yes.
This is not Tuesday. This is Saturday.
But this is coming out on the 23rd of September.
Yep.
2 days ago, do you remember the 21st night of September?
Wow.
Love was changing the minds of pretenders
Wait, what?
and chasing the clouds away.
Wait, what? I'm so confused.
Our hearts were ringing in the key that our souls were singing.
Wait,
As we danced in the night, remember how the stars stole the night away.
what is going on right now?
You've never heard that song?
No.
Do you remember the 21st night of September by Earth, Wind, and Fire?
No.
You've never. Oh my goodness. Just a baby.
Okay, yeah.
Just a baby.
We are definitely off topic.
Off topic. And we already talked about music, so.
But yeah. The biggest thing, it goes back to that direction, because we were talking about one of the things is, with Eliezer, Abraham's servant, who got a wife for Isaac.
Yeah.
I love this one verse. He says he was talking to Rebecca, who was Isaac's wife, talking to Rebecca's father. Because he's like, oh, this girl is someone that would be great as Isaac's wife. And he was talking to her about how the Lord was leading. He said, and while I was in the way, God led me.
Mm-hmm.
While he was going the direction he knew God wanted him to go, he didn't know but he was in the way, which is like a highway,
Yeah. God's ways.
He was moving. He was moving, expecting God to lead him in one way or another. So one of the little things is just, while you're following, because if you want the Lord to lead you, you have to already be following him in the little things.
So when we moved back to Oshkosh, well, before that, when we moved away from Oak Creek, my parents knew that God wanted them to move, but they didn't know where. So really their main two verses became Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lead not into thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Yeah. Well, and that's the same thing where I actually asked my youth leader about moving here. And I don't know, is this the Lord's will? And he said something. He said, the Lord can use you, whether you are in Oshkosh or in Pound. He said, and if this isn't actually the Lord's perfect will for your life, he'll show you. But your life, it still wouldn't be wasted, because you are there. Maybe you weren't supposed to be there. But if you're serving God there, and then you have to come back to Pound, you still served God in Oshkosh, and now you're serving God in Pound. So either way, you're serving God.
You want to know something really cool?
Yeah?
God directed my parents' marriage.
Yeah.
Really cool. So this is the story.
Wait.
All about how my life got flipped. Turned upside... No, I'm joking. Anyway, but what happened was... So my dad got saved in 2002. My parents got married in 2004. So what happened in this time period? Well, Peggy Tilke, you know Peggy Tilke?
No.
Okay, so she goes to our church.
Okay.
Call her Aunt Peggy. And so I believe it was her. I could be wrong. It could be someone else. Anyways, but she talked to my dad. She's like, you should talk to Rebecca Sahlstrom. My dad kept putting it off, and then he's like, fine, because he wanted her to stop talking about it. So he goes up to my mom. He's like, hey, I'm Jared Longsime. My mom goes, I'm Rebecca Sahlstrom. And he goes, I know. She turned red and walked away. That was their first interaction.
I know. That is the worst thing to say.
Okay. So, that's their first interaction.
Nice.
So then,
man, he sounds a lot like you.
My dad ends up... You wonder where I get it from. I don't really remember exactly how they kept getting in touch, but eventually...
I'm not surprised. I would be a little weirded out if you did remember.
Eventually, my dad ended up talking to her dad and her mom, and everyone in the family liked my dad except my mom. My mom was the only person that did not like my dad.
Nice.
So she tried a few things to try and get him, say, oh, it's not God's will. First thing actually, I don't really know if there's anything else, but there was at least two things. So the first thing was my dad had said that he had a temper, like a quick temper. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so my mom took him up on ATVs to the top of the hill. And there was one ATV that it would die, and when it died, the brakes wouldn't work. So she sent him down the hill on the ATV that didn't really work, trying to get a rise out of him. My dad kept calm. The second thing is, my dad was a banker, okay? And he had a very good job, very steady job as a banker. Mm-hmm. Well, my mom knew that God wanted her to do full-time ministry. So she told God, she said to God, Lord, I will only marry him if he wants to do full-time ministry. And she's thinking, I've got him now. I've got God now.
That's it.
We're done. We're done. It's just gonna
end game. Got him.
And then
I outsmarted God.
She goes up to my dad and she's like, oh, so what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And my dad goes, oh, I think I've been called to full-time ministry.
God's like, yes.
Yes.
Definitely smarter.
So that's how I know that God wanted my parents to get together.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
That is really cool.
So if God can do that for my dad and my mom, why couldn't he do it for me?
The question to that is, he can.
Yeah, that is the correct answer.
We have to be faithful in the little things.
Exactly. Just like in sports, if you don't do the little things, you're not going to win the game.
Yep. The practices, the drills.
The tiny little things.
Yep.
It's that simple.
Well, I mean, even with my martial arts, you can punch someone like this, and you'll break your wrist. You go like this, boom. 10 times more power here. Because right here, your wrist isn't locked. That's it. Right here, you will, and it's look how tiny of a movement that is. That makes all the difference. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things.
Just the little things.
So focus on the little things, and then
stay encouraged.
Yeah, focus on the little things. Practice the little things. That way, if God ever puts something big in your lap, you'll know how to handle it. Mm-hmm. All right. So, with that being said, what's making you happy?
So, because we are recording this on the same day, I'm not going to say the same thing. So
really?
I'm not going to say the same thing because I want it to be different every time. I don't want to do the same thing.
No.
So I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit. Well, what's making you happy?
Well, again, can't say the same thing. Because the last episode I said Friends.
Friends are good.
They are. They're awesome.
Not the TV show. That's
no.
Ungodly.
Friends and The Office. I don't watch either.
I don't either. Mostly because I'm too busy.
What is making me happy? I was able to... I'm possibly going to have a video shoot. And that is exciting. I went to the mall just because I was doing DoorDash in Appleton. And one of the best places to do DoorDash is the mall because there's a bunch of restaurants right there, right in and around the mall. So I'll often go to the mall and just wait in the mall to get an order on my phone. And I was going, and there was one guy, he's a vendor, he sells like shoe products, like shoe cleaning. They're actually pretty good. And he wants some promo footage. I was like, I do video. So he's like, so it looks like I'm probably going to be videoing for him, which will be my first client that isn't just because I know people.
Or because you're just in the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
Like the barista at Starbucks. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you should.
Yes.
Add Unicorn Photography.
It's great place. Great place to be. And, there's going to be even nicer photos.
That's great.
That I'm going to have of them. But yeah, so the Lord is helping me with my video business. Well, actually, I already had my first job in Sheboygan. And then I'm possibly going to have a second. And then possibly a third, but we'll see about that.
All right.
But yeah, so the Lord is actually starting to give me, if not just a little bit of growth in my business. And that's really cool.
All right, so what's making me happy right now? I am going to say Wednesday night church starting up again. Wednesday night teen group.
Wait.
So we don't do teen group during the summer.
Oh, okay.
So it just started up again, and Pastor Ingalls is leading it up this time. We're going over...
Which Ingalls?
Pastor Ingalls.
So that's...
Jeremy
Ingalls. Okay, yeah.
So, in regards to that, we're going over practical things for the teens.
Okay.
And honestly, it's really going well. The first time, well, not first time, second time we did it, where it was the the first time we did it was more of like an introduction to it.
Okay, yeah.
Second one was more of an actual lesson.
We're actually getting into it, yeah.
But he went over balance and having balance in your life because you don't want to be too worldly, and you also don't want to be too much in the Bible because both extremes are bad. Because there are people who are too much of a heavenly mind that they're of no earthly use.
Yeah. Well, see,
they're very rare and far between.
I've actually
they do exist.
I have known people. Well, and it's about being a hermit and not actually reaching out to people. Mm-hmm. If you're only, well, it's the same thing with video. Any good YouTuber that's teaching video or teaching photography, they say, follow the 50-50 rule. 50% should be learning, 50% of your time should be using it. So if you watch a 15-minute video, you should spend 15 minutes practicing what you learned. And so otherwise you become a video head. Because if you have all this knowledge, but you never share it and you never use it, you're useless. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's absolutely true. Have a good balance. I like that.
Yeah. So that's life right now.
Nice.
It's a little shorter than normal, but good enough.
Oh yeah, if I
were to start a business, it would be Good Enough Incorporated.
What would you be doing?
Anything. It's just good enough.
Wow.
Anyways.
Wow.
Well, Unicorns, see you in the next video. Should be next week for you guys. Hopefully, if Silas and I can do something.
Also, I have potential backup hosts.
That's
if
good.
Something goes wrong. So, most likely, from here on out, we will have a video every week. Because I've been able to get a couple plan Bs. I'll tell you about that later.
All right.
But other than that, thank you all for watching. And I will see you next week.
See you in the next video.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.